And hello, everybody. Scotty be along in just a second here. Everyone's dealing with colds. You'll probably hear it in me. Up there he is right now. Hope you all are doing well. Hopefully, you're finding us on our new home here. As we've got our new home. How about that, Mr. Hastings? On altitude and all its platforms. So, hey, real quick before we get going into anything, and I'm sorry your wife's dealing with a cold. I got the same thing going on. They've got this documentary I saw, and now they're showing it on HBO. I didn't think they were going to show it. We beat the Dream Team, about some of the college superstars that got to run a scrimmage with the Dream Team. Have you ever heard of this?
Yep.
What
It's
do you
when,
know about the behind the scenes of that story?
well, Chuck Daly was the coach, and as Chuck was telling it, they were having a game, and so somehow he won it because I guess our guys were arrogant and cocky, and so they played some game, and the college guys got after him and actually beat him, um, and it lit a fire under the USA team. And I don't know how the documentary is going to do it, but it wasn't like it was done every night after that. It was like this one time, and it basically woke up all those pros and said, no, 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 no. Because after that, I guess they just crushed them.
Well, it is interesting because, again, they're saying, I just saw Bird here before we jumped on, and Bird said, yeah, the guy I remember was Penny Hardaway because he looked like he was 12, but he was whooping our ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was Grant Hill. It was Penny Hardaway. It was Bobby Hurley, just to name a couple of the college all-stars. So I thought you've talked about it on the radio, how the practices for the Dream Team were so intense. Was that before or after this deal? Do you know?
This
When they were going against each other, that is.
This may have kick started it a little bit. To be honest with you, it might have been what kind of got them going and got them started. Remember there was somebody I think was doing a documentary on this too. The '84 team that was in LA, and that was still college guys. I think that was like Jordan and all them. They played about 7 exhibition games against pros and kicked their ass every single exhibition game. But that was when Jordan was still in college. So yeah, no, I remember Chuck talking about it, and like you said, they got after him. He kind of enjoyed it and kind of let it go, and then he helped rub some salt into the wound. And it'd be interesting. I'm not sure when they made this documentary, but it should have been neat if Chuck was still around.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for him. I just noticed it was on, trying to find something to watch. So I'm going to recording a showing for tomorrow because they're about halfway through this thing. So I want to hear the whole thing. But okay, that helps us transition into the now. How big a deal? Let's talk real for a minute. How big a deal do you think this Four Nations thing is going to be for all the young kids now? I was watching the TNT broadcast the other night, and they kept talking about, oh, it's going to be a big deal for, the kids, and maybe this will get some kids playing hockey. And you know what? Maybe it will. I don't know. This isn't like, do you believe in miracles big, is it?
No, I don't think it's that big, but and let's be honest, I'm not sure it'd be this big if the Kachucks weren't on this team. It seems like, and I saw a video of when their dad played Canada in an event, and their dad started a fight like in the first minute of a game, and now here comes the Suns up and against Canada too. It'll only be giant is if USA can do it twice and win on Thursday.
Sure.
If they come back out and find a way to win that game on Thursday, then I think it really has a chance to ignite something in the United States. Listen, we already know Finland, Sweden. You gotta pump Canada. You have to pump those country ups to like hockey. No, I don't think so, right? But it could do something for America. I mean, I read an article where they think over 10 million people checked out that first match, and I think it's only going to be bigger for this one. And I don't know if there'll be a fight in the first 9 seconds or not, like that last one. But I bet it's a freaking battle.
I bet it's a battle. Part of me wonders if this doesn't. I think either we're going to get a fight in the first minute instigated by Canada for an answer to what the U.S. did, or this is going to this. I won't be shocked if the championship tomorrow is a little more like an all-star game than what the first meeting was. Nate and I were talking about it today on our show.
I don't think there's a chance in heck that happens.
No, I think you're probably right, but come on, man, you can't get anybody hurt, dude. The games start again Saturday.
So,
well, okay. So I'm Andy Lindahl, and I don't care if you win the Four Nations. I need McKinnon, McCarr, and Tays healthy. Dude, we're already down Manson. Manson ain't playing this weekend. Now the Avs don't play till Sunday, but no Manson. And even though I guess Nichushkin's closer and was skating today, he won't be ready by Sunday. They can't afford to be any more beat up than they already are.
You're just being selfish.
I don't care.
These guys got their countries on their chest, Andy. They don't care about the NHL. The NHL is a minor league compared to international play for most of these guys. They just happen to make a really good living doing it.
Yeah. See, Dominic asked a good question. You and I talked about this a little bit earlier today. I wonder if the Four Nations will lose some of its intensity the more that they do it. There's no doubt in my mind one of the reasons why this is so feisty right now is because they haven't played in 10 years because of COVID. The NHL players couldn't participate in the last Winter Olympics because of COVID. So I do think there's a whole new generation of players finally getting to experience this thing. So,
well, it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. The way the NHL, the NBA, and the NFL all run their leagues is if there's a little success in doing it, then they're going to repeat it. If they were smart, they would make it somehow a country has to qualify for it. You get to the point where you don't care if the pros are in it completely or not. You do this instead of an all-star game. If you want to vote like we vote all pro in all the sports, if you want to have people vote for it, okay, fine, here you go. So you can get a little certificate. But if they would do this either the winter before or no, when's the Winter Olympics? Next year?
yes.
The year before, like this, you do it the year before the Olympics. You take the World Cup, that'll be, whenever the World Cup 2 years out, you take the 4 final teams in it and you qualify them. But what they'll do is they're going to see all the rating success and all the TVs that were turned on watching this thing, and they'll have it every year. And then, like anything else, when it's done every year and it's the same people or not, it'll get a little, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Or it'll somebody get a devastating injury and missing 6 weeks of the season after this, then leagues go, wait a minute. I'm paying this guy $10 million rehabbing a broken foot that it happened in the four nations.
Well, U.S. has already got a defenseman out. That's what leading to their situation scrambling.
Well, McCarr didn't play in that last game against him, right? He was sick.
Yeah, but then a report came out where they talked about it on TNT, and Stan thinks that they're leaving it all out there no matter what. Look, dude, they said
I agree with Stan. I think they will. I think you'll see an intense. Now, I'll say this. Canada jumps up on them and gets up 4-0 in the third period. I don't think you'll start seeing a bunch of swinging fights like you would see in an NHL game. But I think it'll be pretty intense first period for sure. And if it's 1-0, 1-1, not after one, you'll see an intense second period. If it's a 1-goal game going in third, you're going to see an intense third period too.
Dude, I had to laugh because I did my Mammoth after hours, my Mammoth podcast just about an hour ago. And so I was asking Connor Robinson because most of my guys are from Canada on the Mammoth, right? It's a Canadian sport. So I asked Connor, how much are you into this? And Connor was hilarious. He goes, don't you dare. He goes, you know how much pressure's on tomorrow night for us Canadians? He said, don't you go dare lose it to the U.S. after you lost to him in the juniors already. He said if Team Canada loses tomorrow, they're going to launch everybody in the Canadian Federation or whoever, all the administration for Team Canada. They're going to launch them into space. He said that Canada is so uptight about this thing tomorrow. It's hilarious. What's up, T-Bone?
Well, and you know what? But again, it shows you how much all these other countries really think about this, and how if America loses, it'll be yeah. I mean, and I'll go back and talk about Serbia for a little bit and the Joker. They won a bronze medal. That means you're third,
right?
And that country partied for a month. I mean, that country was fired up and partied for a month. This country stuff is different than here in the U.S. We really don't care much about it unless we win. We win it, we love you. If not, no.
Well, I had said this, and you're older like I am. I had said this to Nate earlier because even Nate's a little younger than we are, right? Nate was watching Court of Gold, the documentary on the U.S., the U.S. basketball team that won gold. And Nate was talking about, hey, look, you guys, it matters to the NBA players. The NBA players are constantly accused of not caring about anything. Of course, winning the gold mattered to them, but you know what? The pressure's there. They're expected to win it. Like, all you get is relief if you win that thing, ultimately.
That's what I'm saying. Serbia wins bronze and there's jubilation.
Because they're the underdogs. Scotty, we ain't been the underdogs since the 80s in any of this stuff, period.
Well, and that's why maybe if USA and the hockey wins this thing, they're the underdogs. Maybe you'll see more jubilation. I think the NBA players, once they start sticking all the NBA players on these teams, at first it was about retribution because, to be honest with you, all the other European leagues and Russia and everybody else had been paying athletes, this before NILs. Listen, Russia been dealing with NIL since the 60s, right? And calling their athletes amateurs, and they were playing back when the Olympics was amateur. We decided in retribution. Oh yeah, you're gonna. Okay, that's what you're gonna do. Okay, fine.
We're in.
Yeah, we lost one. Okay, now we're gonna see our guys that are really paid too. Difference is, these guys are paid by different teams and different organizations, and they're not paid by their own federation.
Right.
But if you go back and look in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, the training facilities, these guys are basically making a living, and all their job was sports. So America got all huffy puffy. This is our game, even though, let's be honest, a Canadian invented it. It's our game. We can't take losing. So guess what we're going to do? And you're right. I don't think there's a jubilation for the USA basketball team winning a gold. It's a relief from all that pressure.
Because we just expect to have it every time.
But don't you feel that's the same way with Canada now in hockey and the Olympics?
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's why there's pressure on these guys. But I also read something that there was some beef on the coaching staff, and I didn't find out who the best goalie Canada could have brought with them was, but because of some beef on the staff, they didn't invite the guy, and so now they're stuck with Bennington. So,
well, that's
tough on you.
You want to tell you the hardest thing about that game the other day? I was cheering for Hallebuck.
I know. And the Kachucks, frankly. Now, listen, I'd take a Kachuk on this team in 2 seconds. But he ain't on this team right now, so you ain't my dude.
No.
So,
listen, I even liked when the Avs played one of the Kachucks in the Stanley Cup. You kind of like the guy because you see how gritty that guy is, man.
It was Matthew when he was on Calgary.
But you can just see the grit that comes out of that cat. But I found myself watching that first game between them. I'm like, God dang it! I'm supposed to hate this goalie. He just stood on his head and beat the Avs. What am I doing?
Okay, so I called you Saturday night after that game, and Dominic, we all agree. Everybody loves watching Jordan Cryington lose. I hope the Avs take a little lesson from this, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But the prettiest skating team with all the speed and all the incredible shooters and the best power play ever put together, and got one goal against the gritty goal, the grinded out, physical, hard playing team is the one that got the win. First time these two teams matched up. Sounds like the playoffs a little bit, doesn't it?
Yep.
Hope the Avs remember this. We're going to be a couple weeks from the deadline when this is all done. Need to add a little grindy, in my opinion. Need to add a little grindy.
Well, we've been talking about that for a while. We talked about that for the last 2.5 years. Right? The Chushkin will give you a little bit of that, but I wouldn't mind one more. I wouldn't mind another. I wouldn't mind. One thing we always talk about, that they haven't found that second line center to really step up and be special, score a lot of goals, points, assists. But they really have. You know who else they haven't replaced? They haven't replaced Kadri, but they also haven't replaced Eric Johnson.
No, you and I have talked about that a bunch. They had Eric Johnson, they had Jack Johnson, and they had Manson as three big defensemen.
And now they got Manson, who's been hurt most of the year, off and on, right?
And 2 years older than he was when they won the cup.
Yeah,
3 years older.
But we always say we need another Kadri, and that'd be great. Kadri had a special year that year. But Eric Johnson was I would say that was one of his top 2 or 3 years as a defenseman that he had while he was with the Avs. And he wasn't a young chicken.
No, he almost retired.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's look, dude, it's going to be interesting tomorrow. I'm just crossing my fingers that everybody comes out okay. I think it'll be cool, but I'm worried about a cup more than I am worried at winning this thing. All right. Your boy Michael Malone was pressed today. Your guy Michael Malone was pressed today at practice. Who's going to be the starting 5? Sounds like for the most part everybody but Peyton Watson's good to go. Who do you think the starting 5 is when we get back to work tomorrow against Charlotte?
I would say the starting 5 at the start of the season.
The OG?
Yeah.
With Christian Brown back in there. It's time to go back. I'm with you, dude. I'm not offering you resistance. I just think it's time for Russ to come off the bench again. That starting 5 found its old magic, in my opinion, over that last couple weeks stretch there.
And you know what? Unless the last time we saw Jamal Murray, he was pretty special, had 55 points. But if he comes back and he's not ready to start from training camp and he had a little fun in the sun, then he's got to have a short string until he gets right. Because, we said this when they won a championship. Joker's your best player. The heart and soul of your team is Jamal. And if Jamal isn't into it, whether it's, mentally or physically, then they struggle a little bit. It's an uphill battle. But listen, I'll just say this. You just won 8 games in a row. Didn't play great teams, and you played teams injured. You were pretty banged up also. But those 8 games coincided with you putting Christian Brown back in the lineup, and all Christian Brown did was average 19.7 boards and 4 assists.
Didn't pout. Went out there and did his deal.
Didn't pout when he sat down. He went out and balled. So I would keep an eye on Gordon. If Gordon ain't 100% and he's only 85%, I would say an 85% Aaron Gordon is better than most people's bench. So I'd think about putting him in there. Russ with the hamstring, that might be something. Do you want to put him out there right away? Or do you need to have him out there right away? Because, once you warmed up after warm-ups, do you want him sitting down and getting cold for, 15 minutes of real time?
Well, I think you go with the OG 5 because of their special chemistry, assuming Aaron Gordon's really okay. And you just take it. Look, I think Russell Westbrook will be a pro one way or the other. Would he like to start? Everybody wants to start. I mean, let's not act like anybody wants to come off the bench.
No.
Nobody wants to do that. But, you know, if you're rolling, you're rolling. And you know what? Maybe you rotated based on the matchup that night sometimes, you know?
Good.
You know, here's what I hope. As much as the starting five is the topic of conversation, I hope MPJ and the non-Jokic minutes can continue to look good. I hope that Najee can somehow continue to just be at least a 7 to 8 minute night a game kind of guy. I hope DJ can keep up with I mean, you found yourself some semblance of a bench. Let's try to keep that going because I think that's important.
Well, these last 27 games, on one hand,
God, that's crazy. It's crazy how far into the season we are.
But your last 7 games on the schedule, and I don't have it in front of me, are all playoff teams. In the 27 games, you've got Oklahoma City twice on a back-to-back in Oklahoma City. I think you got Houston twice. I don't know if you're done with Memphis or you have them once. You got Minnesota. You got the Lakers a couple times. Listen, it ain't like, you know, you got Boston in there. You got to go to Boston here in a week from Sunday. You'll be playing an afternoon game in Boston. So it's not like it's getting any easier here, you know, these last 27. It's a hell of a schedule.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up, and of course, everything's got to, you know, it's always going to be.
Right? You can't just look up a schedule and the schedule pops up. It's like, oh, you want to buy tickets for these games.
Well, and also every app, you know, Google wants to send me to the Google. I just want to look at the stupid schedule, dude. So let's go. The last 7 games you talked about. Here we go. Let's just start April 1st. Minnesota.
It's the month of April.
What's that?
It's the month of April. Yeah, last 7 games.
April 2nd, San Antonio. April 4th, Golden State. April 6th, Indiana. April 9th, Sacramento. The 11th, Memphis. The 13th, the Rockets. And the Rockets, you could be battling like you are currently, right, for the number 2 seed. The Rockets or Memphis, I guess, are the 2 you could be battling. So,
and you got both of them the last 7.
By the way, the Bucks come into town the 26th, and they're all right now too, but we'll see.
Yeah, they've gotten real healthy too, right?
You got quite a few Laker games coming up.
You're playing Milwaukee. You leave. You have the Lakers here Saturday. You leave Sunday. You play Indiana on Monday, Milwaukee on Thursday, Pistons on Friday. They're playing well. And then you got Sunday in Boston.
Yeah, and that double up in OKC is going to be interesting.
Do what?
The double up in OKC is going to be interesting. I feel like you need to win one of those games.
You have to win one of them.
I don't care which, but you got to. And I feel like you got to beat Minnesota a couple times. You got to let these teams know you don't get to feel confident against us. You don't get to feel good. We got a swagger back. Come taste it. So we'll see.
It'll be an interesting one. If you can go. I don't even know how many wins. What's their record? 37-19.
I think it was 36.
Well, if you could go 20-7, that'd be pretty good. That'd be a pretty good run.
I'll look it up. We'll get it going here so far, but let's see. They are currently. That's last year. Stupid thing. 36-19. So there you go.
Well, if you go 27, you're going to have 56 wins for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but it would be cool if you could keep resting Joker like you have been. By the way, Corn Horn is asking us. He's like, hey, did I miss a game or something? No, man, it's our podcast. We're now on the Altitude Family and Network, so that helps us get a few more of you watching right away. It's already having an effect, so that's pretty cool. Scotty and I have been doing this for 5 years. We're just now on everybody's we started this during COVID. You know what? You and I, you know, I'll never forget the first night we started this. This is pre-COVID. You and I did our first show at the little pizza place by your house.
Yeah.
And I had just left Blake Street. And we had just had Mel Tucker on live talking about how excited he was for CU. And as you and I get done doing the podcast, I'm seeing all these tweets about Mel Tucker talking to Michigan State. I remember telling you, I was like, dude literally just talked to me and Nate about how excited he was about the upcoming season. The hell is this? So that's how long we've been going.
Then we started we did it during COVID when everybody was doing social distancing. we went and did one from your basement.
We distanced. I got a big couch.
Sat on either end of the couch, and still people got problems and were mad at us. Although now we find out that Fauci just made that up. So,
wow.
Well, it just came out.
All right. I am curious, the All-Star game over the weekend. What is your feeling on this? Do we make too much that guys used to care? Are we rewriting history saying guys used to care?
No, it's funny because on our show, we put on one of the TVs. We had the NBA TV, and all last week they showed old All-Star games. There's dudes blocking shots, fouling dudes going to the basket. The latest one I saw that was semi-competitive, where they were at least challenging each other, was like 2015.
Okay.
I don't know if I saw anything after that, 16 maybe. It was really funny. PK Subban went off on a big tirade how the NBA players ought to be, sorry for themselves or whatever, talking about how great this four-nation thing is. And I'm like, you're right. And the All-Star game absolutely sucks in the NBA. But PK, you want to go back and look at last year's NHL All-Star game?
It was brutal.
There ain't no difference. The NHL NBA All-Star games have been a sham and an embarrassment for the sport. There's nothing better. And I always say this of baseball, when you're pitching a guy, 3 batters to take him out. Dude, the baseball, you can play that game legit. Maybe they do play. Maybe that's the closest one to a legit All-Star game. NFL finally just completely gave up and said, okay, we're going to play flag football now. Well,
and now none of the players want to go down there and deal with it.
Nobody wants to do there. You took the trips away at Hawaii, which
right.
Used to get everybody want to go there because they go, oh, free trip to Hawaii? Yeah, sure.
And I can bring the family? Okay.
Pro Bowl. Now, the problem is Hawaiians stopped coming to the game and no one cared. And I get you on that. But the NHL All-Star game was no better than the NBA All-Star game. It sucked also. I don't know what you do with it, Andy, other than you just do away with it. Like we said a while ago, give everybody a certificate. Here, you're an all-star. Here's your certificate. Here's 8 days and have off. You're worried about a four nations thing where guys are at least playing for their country. And you don't want anybody to get hurt. Well, what would you do if you played a real all-star game? You did a 4-country all-star game and somebody blew out an ACL that's on your team. And
right.
And once the money got too high, and the money's high, I mean, let's be honest. NBA players are now making NFL quarterback money, or vice versa.
They're making more than quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are still trying to catch up to some of the top-paid NBA guys.
All I know is I was watching ESPN today, and they said the Raiders are they willing to offer Sam Darnold, who was almost out of the league 2 years ago, a $40, $50, $60 million contract per.
No.
Sam Darnold.
I know.
So if Sam Darnold's making 60,
right,
or 50,
well, it's like being a left-handed pitcher in baseball. You're going to make money just because of what you are. But
yeah.
No, I feel you. I'm just that. Listen, I get that the All-Star games aren't what they used to. I can accept all that. That crap they put on TNT the other night, that was flat out embarrassing. I don't know who thought that was going to be good. I don't know who thought that was going to work. And I felt bad for the players in this respect, Scotty. We're going to play a game, like at one point in the middle of that final championship game, obviously I'm trying to watch it because it's Jokic's team, right? You're going to take like 20 minutes to do a comedy skit and acknowledge TNT. So you want guys to take it seriously, but they're going to get cold for 20 minutes and you think they're going to go back out and try? Whose dumbass idea was that?
Well, the people in suits in New York that want to tie Hollywood into the thing and think that they could do an entertainment. Just let them play.
Yeah, just play the game.
Yeah, go play the game. I don't think it's salvageable, to be honest with you. I don't.
Well, I don't either.
I don't think there's anything you can do about it. Well, I tell you what, you want to do something about it? I'll fix the game for you. Still be ugly, but we'll see. No 3-pointers.
All right. Well, that'd be one of
I
them.
mean, what was the one game where Curry took like 8 straight 3-pointers from half court?
That was the last game.
Yeah,
But
of course.
also, that was right after they had all had to sit for 20 minutes, and I'm sure none of the dudes wanted to pull a hammy. I know it sounds like no big deal to the public, but dude, we're sitting here. We were sitting for 20 minutes while Kevin Hart was not funny, and
He
then
was
you did.
really not funny.
Well, he pissed off SGA. Did you see that? SGA told him to shut up and sit down.
Yeah,
So
he was really non-funny. I didn't watch. I watched Joker's first game, and then I'm like, this is ridiculous. My family all went upstairs. I'm thinking I got a Sunday evening off, and I'm going to spend watching this crap. So I went up and
well,
we laid in bed and watched a movie.
yeah, I went to Saturday Night Live thinking they'd be funny too, and half of their skits were painful. Just nobody had any chemistry. It was not a good Sunday night of TV. Period. Um, Look, dude, the NBA, all the All-Star games are just antiquated. Let it go. Just let them have the time off. See, TV will never allow this. That's the problem. We're doing this because of TV. I have zero. I already saw something floated that said we could see one-on-one for $1 million a game or something like that next year. Why do that?
Well, they did that one year, but they did it in summertime. They did a tournament in the Omni Hotel there, actually, in the little mall that was connected to the Omni. God, I can't. Pete Maravich, I think, ended up winning it, but Joe, and they eventually had the finals was JoJo White versus Bob Lanier. That's what it was. And I think they only did it once, but they had a big one-on-one thing, and these guys got after. Now they played, but I mean, you're watching one-on-one, and then they had a horse thing. They did something the next year, and they put it on the halftime because you only used to get one national game a week, and it was on Saturday. And so the halftime was this taped horse game that they taped in the summer at the Omni or something. And as a young boy, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world to watch. Pete Maravich doing spin the ball, hit it with his fist, and go in and playing horse like we all grew up playing horse. Um, but it's done, man. No one's gonna competitive. No one wants to play. You know, Somebody asked Joker, I think, one of the last couple of games, something about, are you excited about that? He goes, no. I said, would you be excited to play an extra game that no one's going to try? Or something like that, right?
Yeah, I wondered how many guys were trying to lose that first game just so they could get out of there.
Well, and listen, Joker's a big man. When you play real basketball, the big man is still used and needed and can be dominant. But when you're playing an all-star game, you're just going out there and see who, you shoot threes, go do it. And I'll tell you what, congratulations, Tyro Heber winning the 3-point. What's Cade Cunningham doing in the 3-point contest?
Right.
I know he's averaging point. He shoots 35%, 29 from on the move, 29% on the move, and you're putting him in the 3-point contest. Michael Porter would have been a lot better showing on that. It once again, it is idiots that wear suits in New York City, which I would say it is too. How much rent you paying for your league offices? The world's global now. You told me that television is global. People are watching your content more, than in different ways than ever before. Okay, what are you doing in New York paying $1 million a month rent? Why don't you move somewhere in the Midwest of the country and see what real people live?
Let me ask you this. Would it work instead of an all-star game doing what the NFL does and just rotate bye weeks for multiple teams? That way you're never without the TV product that they'll get upset about. And you don't nobody has to call it good. You just give each team just gets their own week off or whatever.
Well, you could do that, but then the NBA made $1 billion by putting a thing they called the in-season tournament together. So that condenses all the games early on and made and I've talked to a lot of coaches from other teams and broadcasters from other teams. The schedule up to now has just been brutal on everybody. I mean, it's been the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah, you could just give them one. And you know what? The All-Star break used to happen around games 44, 43. You know, I mean, and I used to call it the unofficial second half of the season because you'd already played 43 games. Dude, they played 57 games before they got a break.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, you've said it 2 times. I got 27 games left. Dude, that's a third. You already went 2/3 of the season.
Yeah, basically. So I don't know. I don't know what you do.
You're right, though. There's no fixing it. It is what it is.
No, the
So,
game, you can't make guys play a game where they don't really want to be or be in. And you're an all-star. So here's what you do by becoming an all-star. We're going to give you 3 less days of a break. And I want to tell you what. Here's another thing that I want to go back to PK Subban. He was right, but I don't want him to sleep on like the NHL All-Star weekend was any good either. I mean, let's be honest. At least the game. But he talked about leadership. So you saw them games competitive when Michael was around. Kobe was around. You can even go back further. Whoever you want to say the face of the league was, Oscar
Larry, Magic,
Robertson.
whatever, Wilt.
Yeah, they were competitive. The guys had pride and they competed. They also, the top players in the league might be making $9 million a year and not 70. Um, but I thought that was a bigger indictment that no one talked about. I don't know if your show did. Who's the face leader of the league right now?
It's Nicola.
No. Think Madison Avenue. Who's the leader is still the face of this league. It has been for the last
LeBron,
10 years. LeBron James.
who didn't play.
Who cancels literally hours before the game. Oh, my foot hurts. It wasn't hurt before you got there.
Right. Kept an all-star spot from someone else.
And keep an all-star. The leader. The problem is, I will go with Subban even more. Your leadership of the face of the NBA that the league anointed, and that all the kids love, and they buy his shoes and they buy into his BS. Is LeBron James. You want to go back and look about would you say he's been the face of the league for the last 10 years?
Sure. Yeah.
What did we say the last time that we saw a competitive All-Star game? 2015?
Yeah.
I think it was Kobe's last All-Star
Kobe
game.
against LeBron.
I saw a video this week of LeBron checking a game, and Kobe goes, "I'm locking your ass up. You ain't scoring." I like that attitude. Let's go. I'm ready. But basically, the face of this league for the last 10 years has been LeBron James. And how long has the All-Star game been absolutely pathetic? Well, the last 10 years.
During his time, I'm kicking the computer. I'm knocking lights down.
Just
It's
keep
been a
that
good
in
day
mind,
over here.
man.
What's that?
I think that's more significant. And I'm back on the radio tomorrow, and I'm going to bring that up. Because I don't think anybody's talked about that. And I firmly believe that. You want to look at the coinciding of no one giving a crap. Look who became the face of the league and when he became the face of the league.
Well, there's no arguing it right now. I can tell you that. All right, my friend, you and I promised we're going to do this a little bit shorter. We had a lot of viewers tonight. That's cool. We'll maybe talk some football coming up. We're going to have to talk some football next week because, boy, Shador and Cam are not getting the quarterbacks. Our guy Shador, I think some teams are going to make him maybe not the best decision with him, but we'll see. So I think that the combine is going to be real important for Shador. I'm just going to say that right now. What's that?
Is he throwing and
He
testing?
better be. He better be. Because right now, Cam Ward is the top quarterback based especially off athleticism. And Jackson Dart's arm is getting people to squint and see Josh Allen. So Shador better go do everything asked of him there is what I would say.
Well, it's funny.
Because I like Shador, and I think he'll make a good quarterback for some team. But
when does they start
week.
getting there like Sunday, Monday, right?
Yeah, next week is the combine.
And I was told by a little birdie that Sean Payton's going to be at the Nuggets game on that Monday. in Indianapolis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Free tickets all around, baby.
I don't know. I had a buddy who's going to be in town for the combine that gives me info. And he goes, "Hey, I won't be in Indianapolis on Monday. You think you can give me tickets?" I said, "Well, I don't get any, but I'll ask." But now I'm thinking, oh, I bet you Sean Payton's hit a few people up at the Nuggets already.
Probably. Got to get Coach in the building. So, all right, my friend. I hope your wife feels better. I hope everybody enjoyed this, our first time on the Altitude channels, and we'll see you again. What do we got next week again? You already rolled it off. What night are we going to be able to make work? Might as well warn everybody.
Monday, I'll be in, whether we do it Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be in Milwaukee either night.
Okay. We'll maybe shoot for, what is Wednesday, a post game?
No, because they don't play till Thursday. I'll be off on Wednesday. We can do Wednesday from Milwaukee.
Wednesday, we'll do it again.
Shamazel, Hots and Pepper Corporated. Da-da-da-da-da.
You're going to do it. All right. All right, my friend. You guys, everybody out in Altitude Land, have a great night, and we'll look forward to hearing you back on the air tomorrow.
All right,
Mazel
good night,
tov.
Sally.
Good
Mazel
evening.
tov.
Good night, Sally.